Yeah, yeah. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Ernie Hudson in Ghostbusters. Rick Moranis, who was funny hollow through, and Sigourney Weaver, yes, in Ghostbusters. Do. Ivan Reitman's Ghostbusters. What a classic this film was. It's Ghostbusters. I'm John Renton with the retro review of Ghostbusters. If you couldn't guess that from me holding this up, this very, very, very bright green case with the DVD of Ghostbusters. Yes, I don't have the Blu-ray. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm cheap. But yes, Ghostbusters. Coming up on the 40-year anniversary of this film being released. And because they decide that they want to milk this damn thing dry with Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, I decided to rewatch this. I'm going to rewatch Ghostbusters 2, Electric Boogaloo, as well as the 2016 Ghostbusters. Boy, can't wait for that. And Ghostbusters Afterbirth. I mean Afterlife. I'm sorry. But yes, the late Ivan Reitman, the late Harold Ramis, and really a great goddamn cast. And Sigourney Weaver, fun fact, was in her mid-30s when this came out. Sigourney Weaver was born in 1949, which means in Galaxy Quest she was approaching 50. And if you look at her now, if you still wouldn't, you're lying. So yes, Ghostbusters. An honest-to-God classic. A really great film. Just hilarious, ridiculous, fun. And it doesn't take itself so fucking seriously, and also just throws so much shit at you, you can't help but be entertained. Sure, Ghostbusters 2 was a bit of a downgrade, but still a worthy sequel. It doesn't deserve the hate it gets. And the other stuff. But yes, Ivan Reitman. That name should sound familiar, but he did Stripes, he did And Twins. He also did Ghostbusters 2, he did Kindergarten Cop, It's Not an Amani Tuma, Dave Jr., and Evolution. Remember Evolution? I worked at the theater when that came out. I remember watching it quite a bit. I remember kind of liking it, but the movie kind of was like a big loogie. If you've seen the movie, you will get it. So yeah, it was written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. Rick Moranis got uncredited as a writer, but I think Rick Moranis actually is pretty entertaining. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and all that. What is Rick Moranis doing, by the way? I hope he's doing well. But Bill Murray as Dr. Peter Venkman, and Dan Aykroyd as Raymond Stantz, or Stats. Sorry, I haven't slept recently. Egon Spangler played by Harold Ramis, the late great Harold Ramis, and then Ernie Hudson plays Winston, and Ernie Hudson at least gets to do more in the sequel, thankfully. That's a good thing, because he really doesn't get brought into this until nearly halfway through. But you have Sigourney Weaver, who, I'm sorry, just fucking goddamn hell she looked great in this. You have Rick Moranis, Annie Potts, who played Janine. You have William Atherton, who, if that name doesn't, quite ring a bell, you'll know him as being Thornburg from Die Hard, and he was also William Peck. No, not to be confused with the Peck that Val Kilmer threw out as an insult in Willow. And it had David Margulies, Larry King, who looks like an owl. Anybody that remembers the David Letterman show will be dying laughing in the comments. I am the Keymaster. Are you the Gatekeeper? Or Gatekeeper, it was one of the two. Nevertheless, at NYC, we see the Ghostbusters fire from their job, and now they have to band together, take out a loan at the bank, get their facilities, and fight ghosts, and then fight more ghosts when they are forced to release a ghost, because William Peck is kind of an absolute dick, ironically. So yeah, Ghostbusters. If you have not seen Ghostbusters, there be spoilers. This movie is 40 years old. If you have seen Ghostbusters, let me know your favorite film of the Ghostbusters franchise in the comments, please. Do you all remember the animated show that ran from 1986 to 1991? I do. I watched that show religiously from the time I was 5 years old until I was 10. And I probably need to get it on DVD or Blu-ray at some point. So this did have, for fun facts and figures, $30 million for a budget in 1984. That is nearly 3 times that, $89 million in today's money, $13.5 million opening, $40 million in today's money, roughly. And then a $243.5 million domestic haul. That is $722.8 million in today's money, and nearly $300 million worldwide, 296.5 specifically, $880.1 million. And that's a big haul, so no wonder this got a sequel. The special effects still hold up. Sure, there's that 80s cheese about it, and there's the green screen stuff, but you know what? $30 million? At this point, that's a lot of goddamn money, and they decided we're just gonna throw everything at the screen. Bill Murray was fucking hilarious here, as you would expect, because Bill Murray is a hilarious individual. Weird, but hilarious. And then we see Slimer, but I barely know her. No, Slimer, the big old green ghost that liked to slime people. If you didn't get that from the name Slimer, I don't know what to tell you. Basically, there is no Dana, only Zuul, because Zuul, this demigod, is bound determined to come forth from this gate atop this New York skyrise, and only the Ghostbusters can save the world. So it's just another day in New York City. Libraries, remember those? I used to go to a library. I actually used to be near a library when I lived in another place for about 4 years. I literally lived maybe 2 minutes from it, and it was fun. Whenever the internet was out at my place, I could just pop over there and use it. That's back, of course, when the internet was really just getting rolling in the last number of years. So, after getting basically fired from their goddamn jobs, because why not? They aren't getting grants anymore. Because Dr. Grant, welcome to Jurassic Park. Or Bark? Jurassic Bark. That was an episode of Futurama I will not rewatch. How dare you, Futurama creators. But Rick Moranis being a delight in this. Just being an old nerdy guy that can't get in his apartment because he has either a weird lock or can't figure out how doors work. And then we get Eggs, Ghost Benedict, where eggs are just all shattering around, and then Zuul is in the fridge. I hate it when I leave my Zuul overnight and then it rots and then turns my fridge into an interdimensional portal. So Dana needs help because her fridge is a gateway to the underworld, you know, as happens. And who wouldn't want to help Sigourney Weaver in any way possible? And I don't just mean now, or just mean then. I mean even now. Look at her. Seriously. She's aged pretty goddamn well. Good for her. Peter is really into her. Can you fucking blame him? So the arcade games in the background made me laugh. I couldn't quite see what the arcade games were, but considering this was 84, I would imagine Space Invaders is probably one of them. I think we should split up. Good idea. We can do more damage that way. Bill Murray pretty much stole the show here. And again, I hate to just heap praise on Bill Murray, because Ernie Hudson got some good lines in here too. Harold Ramis was more of the straight-laced guy, and Dan Aykroyd is pretty funny. Basically, they were the prototypes as far as format for the Ninja Turtle movies. Think about it. They were all different types of people, and they all had different, positives that they brought to the group. And Slimer just wants to eat and slime people. Makes sense for a creature named Slimer. And so you don't want to mess with the ghosts, or else you want to make sure that you don't mess with the system. You put the trap in the system, and you don't mess anything up, and you don't blast chandeliers, and don't cross the streams, and don't do anything bad, or else you must have professionals like the Ghostbusters involved. So you're going to blow up everything, blow up the outside world, but because they trapped a ghost, they trapped Slimer, they now gain fame, and Ray Parker Jr. plays. He always felt that bustin' made him feel good. That was a dirty song. That is a very dirty song, and if you think that didn't have a lot of dirty connotations, you are lying to yourself. I did kind of like at one point, it seemed like one of the ghosts wanted to make Ray bust all over. If you get it, you get it. And business explodes. Turns out Zuul is a demigod from 6000 BC. It's around the time Zoe Stark was born. If you're a Deep Cut Wrestling fan, you are dying laughing in the comments. If not, you are monumentally confused by this. So, the custom storage facility, we get Ernie Hudson's Winston brought in. He sees how all the stuff works, put the trap in, hit some buttons, hit the switch, and you store it and everything. And as long as you don't release the ghost, you'll be fine. They managed to somehow build this facility and get all this money really, really quickly. Just totally cut that part out, but whatever, it's supposed to be entertainment. So yes, Peck shows up, and he's a bit of a dick. He really wants this place shut down. Why? Because they needed another villain. So, a giant medieval setup just in the middle of New York. I don't know why nobody ever knows that. Giant gargoyles come to life. It's like the animated series Gargoyles, but this has slightly better writing. That's unfair because actually the Gargoyles cartoon was pretty good. It was just really weird. The video game was weird. Zuul, the Zuul recliner for all your demonic restful needs, where it's going to pull you into an underworld slumber. I see when my hands go over a woman in a recliner, then I get the cops called on me. Let's move on from that. Sigourney Weaver all slooted up. Yeah, I'm really kind of adding myself here, but she's trying to go all over Bill Murray. Who could resist that? I mean, her. If you can't resist Bill Murray, that's up to you. There is no Dana, there's only Zuul. And then Rick Moranis gets possessed. He is the key master, and she is the gate queefer. I think that's how that goes. And then she gets put to sleep. Yet moving on, I wonder how many Cosby was doing that too, even back in the 80s. So the police, well, let's just say the police do what Peck wants, and they shut down the system. All the ghosts get released, and now the Ghostbusters need to appeal to the mayor while in jail. They come up with this plan in jail, and they have to basically destroy all these ghosts. They have to trap them, destroy them, whatever, and they have to stop Zuul. There's also some funny stuff with Rick Moranis acting all possessed and all weird and all frazzled out. And Sigourney Weaver, again, Sigourney Weaver. Maybe I will profess my love for Sigourney Weaver one day. Shut up. She's going to be 75 this year. She's going to be 75. I don't know how. So, during a funny part with the mayor, like, you know, they call Peck dickless, and the mayor says that, you know, like, all this stuff you caused this explosion, is that true? Yes, it's true. This man has no dick. Well, mayor, if you don't let us go, your city is fucked. We're absolutely goddamn fucked. All this stuff just keeps on going absolutely batshit insane. The Ghostbusters band together. Then this demonic sinkhole develops where they get swallowed up, but oh no, the Ghostbusters are back because they are the Ghostbusters, and they will not be kept down. I did kind of like that the angry religious mob of every single religion, race, color, and creed are just there, including rabbis. Apparently there is a huge contingent of rabbis in New York, I'm assuming. Or this was in an Amish paradise years before that song came out. So, they climb some stairs instead of taking the elevator. Probably smart, but considering how high this high-rise is, they had to cut quite a bit of that. And then they get to Dana's apartment. Everything's blown up, but wait a second. Where do these stairs go? And Bill Murray says, up. Because Bill Murray doesn't give a fuck, and he's just going to say whatever. You can tell everybody had a great goddamn time on this. And they basically try to fight a David Bowie look-alike Gozer, like the bulldozer, and has lightning powers. Yes, ha 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 ha. And then they basically try to destroy them. But then they must choose the form of the destructor. Bill Murray says, clear all your thoughts. Dan Aykroyd didn't. He thought of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, as you do when you are panicked and wanting to avoid demonic entities from entering your world. And the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is there for a few minutes and then gets blown up. Because they cross streams. You're not supposed to cross streams. They blow up the gate and everything's fine. Sigourney Weaver and Bill Murray are together and Rick Moranis is confused. So pretty much everything in this movie basically lines up, and that's it. And busting made them feel good as everybody busts all over the credits and all the Stay Puft Marshmallow stuff falls down as everybody gets busted all over by the giant white man full of cream. Have fun on seeing that. Have fun with a giant 80-foot man filled with cream busting all over you. If I have to think of this stuff, do not ask why, and so do all of you people. It's entertaining, it's hella fun, and it still holds up after 40 goddamn years. I can't wait to review the stuff after the second one. Oh boy. That being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.